Hi friends, it's Glenn Livers. It's the end of a long day. I'm going to do a few of these critiques that people sent in. Let's just get into it. If I can figure out how to share the screen. Okay, so I have this critiques at Glenn Livers email address if you want to try and send yours in. Try to be nice about this. Everybody's got their strengths and weaknesses. So here's the first one. Mountains between us, betwixt river and vale. When will we meet again? Okay, well, we've got this between. I can see that you're using the word betwixt because you don't want to use between twice, but betwixt is kind of the same thing. I don't think that this works at all. I don't like this language either. Betwixt river and vale, it sounds cliche. It sounds like you're trying too hard, and it's just not working. And I don't know how mountains between us and between river and vale. So what are the mountains between the river and the vale, and they're also between you? And I'm sorry, I'm not making fun. I am making. I'm just trying to give you some insight into the reader. What is the reader going to think when they look at something like this? It's a bit much. So mountains between us. This needs to change into something different. Rivers flowing to an end, maybe. And then there's this thing here, this when will we meet ever again? So I want you to think of question marks in much the same way that poets think about exclamation points. You get a couple of them in your life, and that's it. Don't waste it on things like this. And let me put it differently. Don't end your short poems with a question mark. Don't make your poem a question. I can't say any differently than that. It's just frustrating. It doesn't work well. It doesn't create the resonance that people think it does. The way that you hear the question in your heart when you write it, you're thinking, "Oh, it's so poignant," but it's rarely the case. And so I would just get rid of that. When will we meet again? I don't know. I'm ruining your whole poem, right? I mean, I'm changing everything, and I'm suggesting that this isn't going to work. And I'm sorry, this poem's just not working. Mountains between us, rivers flowing into an end. The last meeting. Something, I don't know. I'm going to move on, but that just wasn't working. It's not a surprise to me that you need a critique on it, that it's not getting published. I know you sent this in and it came back. So it's just not working. But if you take anything out of this, just, take it a learning experience. Don't make short poems into question marks. Don't use repetitive words, that between and betwixt thing, and don't push the language into that thee, thou, betwixt this and thou and that, and try to, and that, what was it, mountains and vale or something, that sort of cliche thing. All right. So just try to be a little more deliberate. Mirror on the wall sees all my flaws, but I'm still young. Okay, so this poet, I don't think you can say mirror on the wall. Mirror, mirror on the wall. That's what I think. When I see that, I'm sorry, maybe I'm in a bad mood. That's what I think. That's what I get out of this. That's not working for me right off the bat. Let's see here. Reflections in the mirror. Okay, something just that simple. Just rework the line. And it's still, it's a common thing that everybody's going to have some feeling or understanding of. Everybody's going to have a picture of it, but it's just not that cliche language. Sees all my flaws. Well, I can tell you when this was mirror on the wall sees my flaw, I was very frustrated with this right away because of the rhyme. These things shouldn't rhyme. Three line poems should not rhyme. There's just not enough structure to support that kind of thing. So I guess you could say sees all my flaws. Maybe something reveals all of me, you know, something a little different. I don't know, but I'm still young. That's okay. I guess that's okay. I might say something a little different, like, here I'm murdering everybody's poetry today. I'm sorry. But look, these are off the cuff. I'm just going along. Maybe you'll get something out of it. Don't take it to heart. Don't get mad. Reflections in the mirror reveal all of me, even my youth or something. I don't know. But something just a little bit different. Now we have this extended line, so I'd like to see something, and there's an opportunity here. Even my witless youth, or my something, I don't know. But anyway, the way it was at the beginning didn't work. I don't think. It's just too cliche off the top. The rhyme didn't work, and I don't think the wording was deliberate enough to be unique. Okay, so let's just move on. Little by little, I slipped into his warm arms, living in the moment. I like it, sort of. I mean, little by little, I slipped is cliche, right? We do everything little by little, bit by bit. Let's see, maybe moments. Those moments I slipped. I mean, it's not the same thing, is it? Into his warm arms. Warm arms. Into his, yeah, maybe there's a different word there that could work a little bit better. Maybe a million of them. I don't hate it though. I don't know if into is the best beginning here. His warm arms, inviting. You could even separate that out if you wanted to. Maybe go with something like an extended dash there, and then give the reader some indication to slow down so that you can build resonance in this last thing. Living in the moment, right? Living in the moment is a very plain way of saying what it says. You could say every moment, a forever. I don't know. Is it better than what you started with? I think so. It's not the only way it could go. It could go a million different ways. I do think that it did need something. It was a little bit plain and a little bit by little bit kind of thing that just didn't work for me. I think you have to think about it. Is this something other people can relate to? Yes. Okay, check that mark off. Have I said it the same way everyone says it? If the answer is yes, I said it, that line the same way everyone else said it, then think about that. And every line is important. So rework the line, try to say it just a little differently. Just mix it up a little bit. It grabs the reader, it slows them down, it helps them to experience the poem and not just forget it in the next moment, you know? Okay, let's see. Picking up my daughter, she weighs nothing like autumn dandelions. I don't hate this poem. I think it's okay. Picking up my daughter, she weighs nothing like autumn dandelions. Are we picking up autumn dandelions? No, we're not. And so we have to sort of grab these two lines here as a unit and say she weighs nothing like autumn dandelions, because this line 1 doesn't really follow into line 3. So sometimes when you're looking at these 3-line poems, you can sort of read them to yourself. Read line 1 and then line 3 and ask yourself, do those play nicely together? Picking up my daughter like autumn dandelions. Sure, picking up my daughter, she weighs nothing, works great. She weighs nothing like autumn dandelions works perfectly. Picking up my daughter, she weighs nothing like autumn dandelions. That is the only disconnect, because and I'm not saying that the poems should do that. My eyes just go all over the place when I'm critiquing these kinds of things. I'm just flipping through them. I'm looking, I'm mixing them up. I'm asking myself, could it be better? I don't dislike this poem. I guess I'm just not gonna say anything negative about this. She weighs nothing like autumn dandelions. In autumn, dandelions are basically gone, right? If they're there, that's just that little stem, and you're trying to say something. I don't know what it is, other than, you pick up your daughter and she doesn't weigh anything. Does it say enough? It kind of does. I mean, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm picking up my daughter, she weighs nothing. Suddenly, as the reader, I'm picking up a daughter that's like a little kid, like a baby. Or tragically, I'm picking up some emaciated, I don't know. I mean, there's different places to go with that. And I think different readers are going to read that differently, and that's okay. As long as people understand, uh, I think this is okay. Is it for every journal? No. Would we print it? Maybe. I'm not gonna say much about this. There's the compression's right. Yeah, every word is a little bit different. Every line's a little different. Does it say a lot? That's the question. I mean, what does it really say? It's a moment. Sometimes that's enough. Father abused all of us and set the stage for a lifetime of bad men. Is it poetical? No, there's nothing poetical about this, except for the set the stage, right? All the world is a stage. I don't know if that won't carry it. Okay, so Father abused all of us. I think you're going to have to consider the reader. What's the reader going to get out of this? Nothing really. Set the stage for a lifetime of bad men. We understand that thing that happens. You've never built a relationship with your father, and so you didn't have a healthy modeling for husbands down the road. Are there better ways to say this? There are 1,000 better ways to say this. So I think, Father abused all of us. First of all, I think the reader doesn't need all of that. You could separate yourself a little bit. How will I say, how do you say what you intended to say? A father's hands always misplaced. That lets the reader mull it over, and then you need the payoff at the end, right? A father's hands always misplaced. My daughter's heart broken. That's kind of interesting. I don't know. I do think that you're going to have to say this in a poetical way. And the way that it started, you didn't. Also, beginning lines with articles is not good modeling on my part. I don't appreciate that in other people's work very often. Sometimes it just has to be done. I have to ask myself as a reader, as an editor, is there a better way, or is that article necessary? A lot of times articles and conjunctions, especially prepositions and adverbs, those can all be cut. In any event, just back to what I said in some of the other people's poetry, try to say things in an interesting way, try not to be too cliche about it. And then in this way that we've changed, instead of dad abused all of us, make it more personal, maybe about your father's hands or about something. And that gives the reader an opportunity to sort of come to an epiphany about what you mean in the poem. Even though it's a little short 3-line poem, it doesn't pay off. Once you read that first line, that poem's blown. I mean, there's no resonance or anything in it. So I think you do need to change that poem up, and I don't think it worked the way you wrote it. Springtime in Delaware, moist rains in the city for cars to splash, pedestrians. Okay, springtime in Delaware, why not? It's a season and a place. It sets the poem up. Moist rains in the city. People don't like the word moist. Rains in the city, I don't know. And then for cars to splash, pedestrians. Well, first of all, I don't think that we need all of that. Cars splash, pedestrians. Um, okay, let's see. It's just a quick rewrite, but so there's the I don't know. Springtime in Delaware, the streets like tiny rivers, wheeled boats splash along. I don't know, it's an image, it's something. I think it's kind of in that same venue. I will say that the word pedestrians is wrong. It just doesn't feel right. All of a sudden it's not poetical. Certain words just sort of drag the reader right out of your poem, and you can't say the word pedestrians in a 3-line poem and expect the reader to really hold on to be in there with you. So try to think of the words. They don't have to be too plain, they don't have to be overly specific. There's sort of a sweet spot where the words are poetical enough and they say enough to engage the reader and give them some kind of an image that they can take with them. And you hope that the image sort of lingers after the poem is over. It resonates beyond the words. That resonant tone, that little bit of something that the reader holds on to after the poem has concluded. Because you remember, all the outside white space is silence. And then you have these words in the middle, and the reader is supposed to approach this and read it, and then hopefully it'll resonate beyond there. And that's why 3-line poems are so neat, because they seem to say more than what you would imagine you could say in so few words, right? So the wheeled boats splash along. I like that because it makes the cars seem like boats because they're wheels, and it gives the reader this different sort of way of looking at all of it. If give me an hour and I come up with 10 different things that probably better than that. This is just off the cuff, but try to show the reader what you want to show them in a slightly different way. I like the opening. I think that it was strong. I just don't think that the wording was unique enough maybe to carry that to a publishing house. Oh, that's it. Okay, well, how many was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. 6 3-line poems. Imagine that, just a few minutes. Okay, so thank you everybody for checking in. I hope that the people who sent these in got something out of it. Critiques are supposed to be critical. Please don't get mad if you didn't appreciate what I said. It's just off the cuff in this moment. I might think I might grow to like these poems if I had some time with them to sit with them a little longer. So that's about as diplomatic as I can be. I hope that you all have a beautiful and wonderful evening, and I hope to come back sometime soon with more of these critiques to share with you. All right, take care.